Cowboys Nation, this moment right here is one of those that completely shifts the mood around. That win over Philadelphia didn't just put another mark in the standings. It cracked open a door everyone thought was already welded shut. People had just about written Dallas off, acting like the season was basically drifting into oblivion. But that victory brought the whole conversation back to life. And it is not some miracle fantasy. It is football being football. And when this league decides to get unpredictable, it becomes something special. The truth is simple. The Cowboys still have a pulse and a strong one. Even if the math at this moment is not exactly friendly right now, Dallas sits around the 10th spot in the conference. Not ideal, not what the fans imagined months ago, but definitely not the end of the road. Ahead of them are teams stacking wins, holding ground, refusing to give up space. But just because the path looks crowded does not mean it is closed. Everything from this point on hinges on playing with urgency, avoiding those backbreaking slip-ups, and treating every remaining matchup like a championship Sunday. You look up and you see Los Angeles sprinting ahead, Philadelphia clinging to the top. Chicago floating through a season that swings back and forth, and a cluster of teams in that messy middle where one loss can turn the whole board upside down. What really changes the energy, though, is the reality that even a slim shot is still a shot. The season is not over. The playoff picture is chaotic, but chaos is exactly where strange things tend to happen in this league. You see the odds bouncing around. Some models giving Dallas a tiny window, others offering a little more oxygen, but none of that matters if the team doesn't handle business on the field. They have 6 games left, and winning all 6 would basically yank them from the edge and launch them straight into the postseason. That is the dream scenario, the absolute perfect storm. But everyone knows winning that many in a row is one of the toughest tasks in any season. Realistically, they can only afford one stumble. One slip and still have a reasonable path to fight for January football. Drop anything more than that and suddenly you are asking the universe for miracles instead of momentum. The matchup list doesn't make things easy either. Thanksgiving brings Kansas City, then a tough stretch in prime time with Detroit and Minnesota before sliding into duels with Los Angeles, Washington on Christmas, and a matchup with New York closing out the year. Each one of these games carries weight, but the one that is hardest to swallow is Detroit. Losing to an AFC opponent is painful but manageable. Losing to a direct rival like the Lions with tiebreakers involved would put Dallas in a deep hole that even a strong finish might not fix. Some games matter because of pride. That one matters because of math. That is why rooting gets complicated. You're not just watching Dallas. You are scoreboard watching like it is a second job. Try to figure out who needs to collapse, who needs to survive, and which outcomes actually open a door instead of slamming one shut. Some games barely move the needle. Others move a lot. And once in a while, you get one matchup where the entire conference shifts depending on who walks out victorious. As we dive deeper into the scenario, it becomes painfully clear just how thin the margin for error is for the Cowboys. Every single game left on the schedule carries weight that can't be underestimated. The upcoming matchups are not just another date on the calendar. There are a series of crossroads that will define whether this season ends in disappointment or continuation into January. Thanksgiving against Kansas City is a high-stakes test. Primetime lights will be shining. Millions will be watching. And a margin for mistakes is virtually non-existent. Even though it is an AFC opponent, the pressure is intense because a win here sets the tone, builds momentum, and keeps hope alive. Lose and the task ahead only becomes steeper, more convoluted, and laden with what-ifs that no team wants to deal with. Detroit is next, and that game carries its own unique burden. Unlike Kansas City, Detroit is a divisional rival. And these are the contests that shape the playoff map in ways that transcend the scoreboard. A loss here doesn't just affect Dallas's record. It hands a crucial edge to a direct competitor in a race where tiebreakers can feel like a cruel twist of fate. Minnesota follows another primetime showdown, and the intensity only ramps up. This is not a league that gives you breathing room. It is relentless, and the Cowboys know that. Every snap, every decision, every small lapse can compound into a mountain that seems impossible to climb by the end of December. The remaining games against Los Angeles, Washington on Christmas, and New York in the season finale are equally pivotal. None of them are mere formalities, and any misstep has the potential to undo everything the team has fought to achieve. The conversation among fans is no less intense. There's an ongoing debate about which path to root for, and it splits the fan base into strategic camps. Some argue that chasing the wild card is the only viable route, while others hold on to the hope of a division victory, however improbable it might seem. The wild card path is full of uncertainty. Yet, it is mathematically cleaner. If the Cowboys can take care of business on the field, winning the majority of their remaining games, the postseason remains within reach. However, this approach requires not only perfect execution by Dallas, but also a little fortune from the teams around them. One collapse from the Bears, a slip from the Eagles, or even a misstep by the Panthers, or Tampa Bay can shift the landscape just enough to open a window for Dallas. It is a delicate dance of victories and losses. A balance of skill, strategy, and a touch of serendipity. Looking at the NFC East, the picture is equally intricate. Philadelphia has shown signs of vulnerability, and the wheels could conceivably fall off in a way that shifts momentum dramatically. If they stumble, it creates opportunities that previously did not exist. However, the Cowboys are currently 2.5 games behind. And even with an Eagles collapse, the path to the division title is anything but straightforward. The schedule ahead is demanding, and the pressure of chasing a faltering team adds a layer of psychological complexity. Players must not only perform physically but also mentally navigate a season where the stakes escalate with each passing week. Every game becomes a test of composure under pressure. A scenario that separates the playoff caliber teams from those who fall short when the spotlight shines brightest. The wild card scenario, while more attainable, is far from simple. The NFC is packed with teams jockeying for positioning, each with its own combination of talent and schedule advantages. Green Bay, for instance, hovers around pivotal matchups that could either cement their status or open the door for an intruder like Dallas. San Francisco has games that appear manageable. Yet one unexpected loss can reverberate through the standings in ways fans can hardly predict. Teams like Detroit, Carolina, and Tampa Bay add layers of complexity, making every scoreboard update a moment of intense scrutiny. In this environment, every outcome matters, not just for Dallas, but for the ripple effect across the entire conference. Fans must become analysts, constantly weighing probabilities, projecting scenarios, and mentally preparing for every possible permutation of wins and losses. This is where strategy and focus intertwine. Coaches and players alike must approach each game as a must-win scenario with no room for complacency. The pressure is amplified by the fact that prime-time games dominate the remaining schedule, placing players under the intense glare of national attention. Every pass, every tackle, every decision in the pocket can influence not only the immediate outcome, but the larger playoff equation. The Cowboys must execute with precision, avoid costly mistakes, and maintain the resilience to respond to adversity within the game. One lapse can spiral, affecting confidence and momentum in subsequent matchups. The mental aspect of this stretch cannot be overstated. Preparation, focus, and discipline become as important as talent and athleticism on the field. The fan base experiences this journey with every heartbeat and every update. Each win brings hope, and every close loss tightens the knot of anxiety. It is a season where every game matters, where the difference between playoff life and elimination is razor thin. The remaining contests are more than football games. There are narrative-defining moments that will be analyzed, debated, and remembered. Whether it is a critical victory over Detroit, a tight contest against Minnesota, or a statement game against Los Angeles, each matchup has the potential to swing the pendulum in Dallas's favor or leave them on the outside looking in. The team's destiny is no longer theoretical. It is immediate, tangible, and demanding of their best performance in every facet of the game. As the Cowboys navigate this final stretch, the combination of skill, strategy, and circumstance will determine whether the season concludes in disappointment or extends into the electric intensity of playoff football. Every game is a test, every opponent a challenge, and every outcome a potential turning point. The stakes have never been higher, and the pressure has never been more intense. Dallas must rise to the occasion, execute at a high level, and hope that fortune, the fickle companion of football, aligns just enough to keep their playoff dream alive. This is the crucible in which heroes are made, and the Cowboys are standing right in the middle of it, facing a path that is narrow, demanding, and filled with the promise of high drama. In this context, every game against a team outside the playoff picture is equally critical. Wins against weaker opponents do not just count in the record. They create breathing room, momentum, and confidence. Success builds on success. And in a league where every week matters, momentum can become a team's secret weapon. Conversely, any lapse against a lesser opponent could snowball, making the road to the postseason significantly harder. The Cowboys understand that consistency, discipline, and mental toughness are non-negotiable traits in this stretch. The next 6 weeks are about survival, and survival demands total commitment. The schedule does not forgive. Every team they face has reasons to play hard, to compete for pride, or to impact the playoff landscape themselves. Rivalries, media attention, and historical legacies all create pressure on both sides of the field. Dallas cannot control how other teams play, but they can control how they respond. That control will be crucial. Execution in the moment. Maintaining composure under pressure and avoiding critical errors will determine whether they advance or watch from the sidelines. This is the reality of late-season football, and the Cowboys are at the center of it all. The stakes are monumental, and the spotlight is unforgiving. Meanwhile, fans watch every result across the National Football Conference, knowing that Dallas' fate is intertwined with dozens of other outcomes. Eagles' victories or losses, Bears' wins or upsets, Packers and their performances all impact the playoff ladder. Each week becomes a blend of rooting for the Cowboys while simultaneously monitoring every other game for favorable results. The tension is electric because the margin between making it and missing out is razor thin. One loss, one bad bounce, one missed opportunity could derail months of preparation. The thrill is undeniable and the pressure is immense. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Hold on to your helmets, NFL fans. Rumors are swirling like wildfire, and if true, this could shake the league to its core. Sources close to ESPN are buzzing with reports that star running back Derrick Henry has agreed to join the Dallas Cowboys. A move that would instantly redefine the team's offensive identity. Imagine the power, the speed, the sheer dominance of Henry barreling through defenses in Dallas blue. ESPN insiders are calling it a game-changing acquisition. Henry, known for his punishing runs and ability to wear down even the toughest defenses, has long been the centerpiece of Tennessee's backfield, but whispers suggest that he's ready for a new challenge, and Cowboys fans might be the first to see it. The chatter isn't subtle. Some analysts are claiming that Dallas front office has been working behind the scenes for weeks, dangling offers and orchestrating a deal designed to make statement. If this comes to fruition, the Cowboys' offense could pivot overnight from a high-powered passing attack to a bruising ground-and-pound powerhouse, giving them a level of versatility few defenses could handle. Of course, the NFL rumor mill is notorious for spinning stories, but the gravity of Henry's potential arrival is enough to make even casual fans sit up and take notice. Social media is already ablaze with speculation. From Cowboys faithful dreaming of breakaway touchdowns to skeptics questioning how the star running back would mesh with the team's current scheme. Would he dominate right away, or is this a marriage of convenience for the short term? Either way, the mere suggestion has fueled debates across podcasts, fan forums, and locker rooms alike. One thing is certain, the NFL landscape could be about a change. The Cowboys acquiring Derrick Henry wouldn't just be a signing. It would be a statement of intent, a bold move signaling that Dallas isn't content to wait, while other teams build contenders. The league thrives on stars making seismic shifts. And if Henry truly suits up in Cowboys silver and blue, every team will have to reconsider how they plan to stop him. For now, the rumor burns bright, teasing fans with a glimpse of what might be the most electrifying chapter of the Cowboys season yet. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next